Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video, I will show you how to scrape a website to get some data. Now, if you are new to this channel, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, then hit that like button. Now, before we begin programming, I'm currently on colab.research.google.com and I'm on it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. So just go to this website and log in using your Google account and get started writing your Python code. So to get started writing this code, you're going to want to click on File and then click on New Notebook, and a new tab open up for you, and then eventually a new cell open up for you as well. Okay, so before I begin writing any logic for the code, I'm going to put a description here and comments about the program. So here I'm going to put this program scrapes stock tickers and their company name. So company name from a website. All right. So again, this program scrapes stock tickers and their company name from a website. So let's go ahead and create a new cell by clicking this code button in the top left. And in this cell, I'm going to import the dependencies. So I'm going to import requests. Next, I'm going to import pandas as PD. And I'm going to import beautiful soup from BS4. So here I'm going to put beautiful soup. And let's go ahead and run this cell by clicking this button here to the left. And hopefully there are no errors. So we'll see. All right, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. Now, again, I want to basically get the company name and that company's stock symbol or ticker from a website. So I'm going to go ahead and create some lists for this. I'm going to create two lists. So again, here I'm going to create two empty lists for the company name and the company ticker or symbol. All right, so the first list will be called company underscore name, and again I'm going to set it equal to an empty list. The next will be called company underscore ticker, and I will also set that equal to an empty list, and I'm going to go ahead and run this cell. Okay, so before we begin writing any code to scrape data from the website, let's go ahead and take a look at the website itself that we're going to be taking this code from. I'm sorry, taking this data from. So let's go ahead and click on the tab. And here we can see that I am on advfn.com. All right, and I'm looking at the New York Stock Exchange company listings. And I chose this site because it looks like a good and an easy way to understand how to scrape data because everything's in this little table here. So we can see the company name under the column equity, and we can see the stock ticker or symbol under the column symbol. Okay, so again, we have the company name here and then the symbol here. All right, we can also see that there are some missing data in the table here. So in this row, it's missing some data. If I scroll down, I can see that this row is missing some data, and here is missing some data, and here. Okay, so it looks like the data won't be perfect, but again, this is just to show you all how to scrape data from a website. So let's go ahead and get to it. So right now, looking at company listings for companies whose names start with A, and that's fine. And we can see that being represented up top here where companies equals A in the link. And what we're going to do eventually is get all of the company names whose letters start with every single letter in the alphabet. All right, so anyways, for now, to take a look at the website structure, which is what we want to do in order to scrape data from this website, just right click on AK Still and then click on Inspect. Okay. And I'm using a Google web browser right now, so um, it may look different in another browser. I'm not really sure, but right now I'm looking at Google Chrome, and I'm using Google Chrome. All right. So what we can see is whenever I hover over some tags, you can see that the web page gets highlighted. Okay. So what I'm interested in, if I scroll this down a little bit, I'm interested in these rows here. So let's just hover over each of those rows. So here we're under we're hovering over one row. So let me just back up a little bit. And now you can see I'm hovering over all of the different rows. Okay, so these are the rows that we're interested in, and that means that we're interested in this tag, which is TR, and then we're interested in the class for that tag, which is called TS0 and also TS1. All right, so let's open up this tag here, and let's take a look at where the company name is. So the company name is under this tag TD, and of course here we have the company name AK Steel. And if I open this, we can see we have the symbol under a different TD tag. Okay, so now that we kind of understand the structure of this website, let's go ahead and scrape this data. So we want to scrape basically this text here and here. So let's go back to our program and let's create a new cell. Okay, so in this cell, I'm going to get the URL. So I will create a variable called URL, and I'm going to set it equal to the URL that I'm using. So let me go back to this website, highlight this, copy using Control C, come back to our code, and then put in the single quotes and then paste the website there. And again, I know it's probably hard to see the website link, but again, we can see that companies equals A. So we're getting all of the companies whose names start with an A. And I will put a link to this website in the description below so you all can go there and see it for yourself as well. Okay. All right. So we have the URL. Let's create a variable called page and set it equal to request.get. And I want to get that URL. So let's go ahead and run this. And then we're going to create a new cell. And we're just going to take a look at the page. So I want to see if we get back the 200 code, which lets us know that everything's okay. So let's go ahead and run this. And we do get back the 200 code. So next, let's take a look at the text on the page. So just type page.text and run this. Okay, and now we can see a small sample of the text on the page. Of course, not all of it's here, but that's okay. We see that it's there, so that's good. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and just exit that. I'm going to go back up to the previous cell, and in this cell, I'm going to parse that text. So I'm going to create a variable called soup, and I'm going to set it equal to beautiful soup, and we're going to input the page text, and we need an HTML parser to do this. So I'm going to put HTML dot parser, and this should allow us to parse the text. So let's go ahead and run this, and then let's take a look at soup. So I'm just going to type soup here, and let's run this. Okay, and now we can see that text looks a lot better. It'll be a lot easier to work with in this form. Okay, so I am interested in, let's see, in the TR tag where the class is TSO or where the class is TS1. And I say TSO, but it's actually TS0, so it's the number 0. All right, so I may use that interchangeably just to make sure that you all understand that. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to this previous cell. Let me just delete this cell. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to the previous cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to create a variable called odd underscore rows. And I'm going to set it equal to soup dot find all. And I'm going to look for all of the TR tags. Okay, so I'm looking for all of the TR tags. Let me bring this down a little bit. And I want all the TR tags where the attributes equal class and the class equals TS0. Okay, so let's run this. And then let's create a new cell. And let's show odd rows. So I'm going to just run this here. Okay, and now we can see that we just get back all of the TR tags where the class is TS0. So that's really good. I'm going to do the same thing for TS1. It's going to be the even rows. But let's take a look at this for a second. We want the data here, which is the company name, and we want the data here, which is the company's ticker or stock symbol. All right, so we can see that that's under the TD tag, and if we go back to the website, we can see that as well. So if I just click on these here, we can see we are looking at the TR tag with class equal to TS0, and we have our 3 TD tags under it. Okay, and then of course we have the stock company name, and then here we have the stock symbol or ticker. All right, so let's go back to the code, and I'm just going to highlight this and copy it using Control C, and then come down and paste it using Control V, and I'm going to change this to even rows, and I'm going to make this a 1. So now I get both the odd and even rows, so the TS0 and the TS1s. So let's run this. Okay, now that that's done, I plan on looping through the odd rows. So for I in odd underscore rows, row will be equal to I dot find underscore all, and I'm going to find all of the TD tags, right? Because that's what I'm interested in. And then I'm going to print row position 0, and I'm going to print row position 1. Actually, let me just show you all row at position 0 first. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so oops, went up too far. So row position 0 contains only the TD tag that contains the company name. So you'll notice that the rest of the TD tags are not there. Well, if I change this to 1 and run this, now we only contain the TD tags that have the, or we only have the TD tags that contain the company's ticker. All right, so now you can see what each one is. So let's do this. Let's extract the text from each of these. So I want to extract the text from 0. So that's going to be the company's name, right? So just type text dot strip. And again, this is the company name. So let's run this. And now we can see that we get back the company names. And again, they all should start with A because that's what we're looking at, right? So these are all the company names. And we can see that there are some missing data here. And I'm going to address that at the end when we clean up the data set. So for now, it's fine. Let's also print the ticker. So that's row 1. And let me bring that down a little bit. All right, so row 1 dot text dot strip. Okay, and let's run this. And now we can see we get the company name and then its ticker. All right, so just like that, we're extracting it. Okay, so instead of us printing it, let's append it to our list. So let me put ticker here. All right, so we're going to append to our list. So I'm just going to type company underscore name dot append. And then here I'm going to type company underscore ticker dot append. And let's run this. All right, and let's create a new cell and let's take a look at our list. So I'm going to type company underscore name. So let's run this. And now we have a list of all the names. And then I'm going to do company underscore ticker. And let's see, we have a list of all the tickers. And we do. And again, we still see some missing data, and that's fine. Again, I'm going to address it later on. So everything looks really, really good there. Now, of course, I'm only getting the company name and the ticker for the odd rows. So I need to do the same thing for the even rows. So I'm just going to highlight all of this, copy using Control C, come down and paste it using Control V, and then change odd rows to even rows. And let me go ahead and recreate our empty list. All right, and then let's run this. And then let's take a look at the company ticker. And now we should have all of the rows and all of the tickers for the company names that start with A. Okay, so that's really, really good. And just like that, we have all of this data. I think it looks great. But if I go back to the website, we have more companies than just companies whose names start with the letter A. We have companies whose names start with the letter B. So if I click B here, we can see companies whose names start with the letter B. And we can also see that the URL changed just slightly. So now companies equals B instead of companies equal A here. And that's fine, but the structure is still the same. So that's really, really good. If we do, or if we click on H, we'll see companies whose names start with the letter H, and we can see only the URL changed slightly. Right now, companies equals H, but the structure again is still pretty much the same. So what we can do is we can basically go through the alphabet and get every single company's name. So let's do that. So I'm going to delete this cell. Actually, I'm going to create a new cell. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a function to scrape the data. I'm going to call this function scrape underscore stock underscore symbols. And it's going to take in a letter. Okay, and then I'm going to set letter equal to letter dot upper. So I'm going to make sure that the letter is uppercase. And then I'm going to come up here. I'm just going to copy this URL. Basically, I'm going to copy everything here. Highlight it, copy it using Control C. Come down here, paste it using Control V. And I'm going to just tab all of this over a little bit. Okay, and now we don't want specifically A, right? We want to be some letter. So I'm going to append letter here. So now whatever letter we put in, we will go to that URL and then we'll do all of this. Okay. All right. So next I'm going to take all of this here. I'm going to highlight it and copy using Control C. Okay. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste it using Control V. And then I'm going to highlight all of this and tab it over one. And I think that looks good. And last but not least, I'm going to return the company name and then the company ticker. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. And let's create a new cell. All right, so now in this cell, I want to test it. So I'm going to create two variables. One I'll call temp underscore name. The other I'll call temp underscore ticker. And I'm going to set them equal to the function that was just created. So that's scrape underscore stock underscore symbols. And I'm going to input a lowercase b. And then I want to show what's in temp name. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so now we can see we easily get all of the companies whose names start with the letter B. And what we also get are all the companies who start with the letter A. And that's because I never cleared it, right? So if I go back up here to create the empty list again, I'm going to run this. So now we have empty list, and now come down here and I run this. I should only get companies whose names start with the letter B. Okay, and that seems to be the case. So that looks really, really good. All right, so let's basically loop through the whole alphabet and input the alphabet into this function here, and we can get all of the companies, all of their names and all of their stock symbols. All right, so let's create a new cell, and in this cell, I'm going to get a list of every letter in the alphabet. So I'm going to import string, and then let's take a look at that list. I'm just going to type string dot ASCII underscore uppercase. So let's run this. Okay, now we can see that we have every single letter in the alphabet, and they are all uppercase. So let's create a new cell, and let's loop through this. So we're going to loop through every letter in the alphabet to get all of the tickers and company names from the website. Okay, so for character or char in string dot ASCII underscore uppercase, I want temp underscore name and temp underscore ticker to be equal to scrape underscore stock symbols, and I'm going to input that character. All right, and I think that should be it. Um, just in case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two new lists. So I'm going to create a list called name, and I'm going to create a list called ticker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set, well, I don't think I will need it actually. So let's give this a try without those two lists. And I think again, everything is good. So I'm going to rerun this, and then I'm going to run this. And this may take some time. Okay, now let's take a look and see what we got. So I'm going to create a new cell. I'm going to type temp underscore name. So let's run this. Okay, and now we can see we have all of the company names here. So this looks really, really good. And I'm just going to bring this up a little. Actually, let's just X out of this. And let's put temp ticker. So let's run this. All right, so now we have all the company symbol, stock symbol. So let's go ahead and exit this. And I want to create a data frame that contains the company name and the company ticker. All right, so I'm gonna create a variable called data. I'm gonna set it equal to pd.data frame, and I'm gonna give it some columns. So I'm gonna set columns equal to company underscore name and company underscore ticker. Okay, and then the company name will contain the temp underscore name, and then the company ticker will contain the temp underscore ticker. And then I want to show data. So I'm going to just type data here. Let's run this. Okay, so here we go. We have the company name and we have the company ticker. So everything looks really good. Again, we still have some missing data here. So let's go ahead and address that. Let's create a new cell. Here I want to clean the data. So just type data and set it equal to data. And then data company name, company underscore name. I want all of the data that does not equal basically that character. All right, and then let's show data. All right, so let's run this and let's see. So now it looks like our data set is what we would expect. And just like that, we are done scraping data from this website. So we have the company name and the company ticker. I think that's really, really awesome. And it didn't take that long. Thanks everyone for watching the video, and a special thanks to Statra and everyone supporting this channel on patreon.com. If you want to support this channel on patreon.com, I will leave a link below in the description. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.